To start the collage project, you're going to need to open a new document that's a custom size. So go up to File once you have Photoshop open, and New, and then you can choose either a custom size right here, 11 by 17, or you can type it in over here on where the dimensions are. Make sure your units is in inches, and you can either make it a vertical or a horizontal image, and then 300 is a good resolution. So go ahead and click create just to create a new document. Now this one's vertical. I didn't really want that, so I'm going to do that again. So new, 11 by 17, change it to landscape mode, and there we have it. Okay, so now I need to place my first image in my multi-layer document here in my collage. So I'm going to do so by going to File, Place Embedded. So this you can use in order to place photographs into other documents. So in this example here, I might make 5 layers, 5 to 10 different layers of different objects. So you usually want objects that are either all whole, so you have the whole object in your picture, and then you can choose how to make it, crop off, hang off the side or something like that. Or you can choose to focus on textures, which you can then make in different shapes. So I'm going to just choose File, Place Embedded in order to place my first image into my multi-layer document here. And I have several images that I've downloaded. These are all pictures that I've taken in the past, kind of with themes of deforestation or a junkyard. So there's different things. I have a sky here, so I might use that for my first picture. So I'm going to click Place, and then I can make it bigger from here. I kind of want just the sky. I don't want any of the man-made elements at the bottom. Make it big enough, and then make it so we just see the sky. Okay, and then hit Enter or Return whenever you're ready to apply that transformation there. And now for another layer, let's add something like texture. So I'm going to go File, Place Embedded again. That's the same process in order to place multiple images within this document. And then at this point, let's see, I kind of want just a texture. So here's a texture. It looks like broken glass or something on the ground at the junkyard where I was. It was just kind of gravel. Now you can change your settings here in the camera raw. So I might want to increase the contrast a little bit, maybe increase the exposure. So you can adjust all of those things here before you open it in the actual document. Here is my gravel, so I'm going to go ahead and apply it. And I may want to make this into a shape, because right now it's just got a texture to it. So in order to make a shape, like a freeform shape, kind of like those collages that we have up on the second floor, there's paintings that are cut into different shapes. You can do that with the lasso tool. So it's like a freeform selection. So I might make sort of like this organic shape here. So I just kind of drew that with my lasso tool. And now to hide everything outside the marching ants, I can hit the mask button down here in the bottom of the layers panel. So I just click the mask button and it hides everything outside of it. So now I can add layer styles if I went to this, like drop shadow, or I can always go back and edit that mask. This is a non-destructive way to alter a photograph or a layer. So for example, wherever it's black is hidden, wherever it's white is revealed. So if I want to hide more of that, I can just grab my lasso tool again, make another little, maybe I want more of this cut off. Oops, Command D to deselect. Let me try that again. Make it simpler. Okay, and then right now I have black as the foreground color. So if I go Edit, Fill, and I'm on the mask down here, so if I fill it with the foreground color, it's going to hide or add to that mask. So Command D, you can kind of see what that did. Now if I want to reveal that part again, I could maybe even use a brush tool here. I think I want a hard edge, something like this. Oops, wrong color. So that's black is the foreground color, so it's hiding it. So we want white, so it reveals. and it looks like it's a lower opacity. Maybe I turn that all the way up. Make my brush a little bigger, and there it is. I can edit that mask. So that's really super helpful. If you want to add layer styles to any of these different images that you add, whether it be like a whole object or just like a random shape cut out of a texture, that kind of thing, down here at the bottom of the layers panel, you can add a drop shadow, an outer glow, bevel and emboss can look kind of cool. So like just to show you what the drop shadow does, it kind of messes up because I messed with the, I don't know, I messed with the mask a little bit. But the bottom of it, you can see, works pretty well. So you can increase the distance, the spread, the size. Let's see, you can also make it lower opacity, something like that. Okay, and you just click OK to apply it. Or if you want to do bevel and emboss, that might be a good one. So yeah, it kind of messed up for some reason on the original layer mask, I guess because it has a lower opacity. Let's see. So this you can change the contour. Let's see, what would be a good one? So it's making it look kind of three-dimensional. So you can see what that's doing to the angle. There we go. Starting to kind of see it. Maybe lower the depth a little bit. So it looks kind of 3D, has some shadows, has some highlights. So click OK on that. There's my one layer. And now since it doesn't have like a defined edge, like a hard edge anywhere, I could make it like hang off the side, down here. I can have it bigger. I can rotate it, Command T. And then, whoops, that's my background. Don't want that, Command Z. I want this one. There it goes. I can rotate my weird little shape. Okay, so that's kind of adding a freeform shape to any of your texture layers. So let's see what else we have. We can add another layer now. So I'm always going to be at like the top of my layers whenever I add a new layer. So File, Place Embedded. Let's add another image. Let's do, let's see. Okay, I can kind of add these down here. So these kind of have like a deforestation theme to it. Now notice I have like a hard edge on this side. This side, it's pretty much, I have all of those, within the frame. But here it's kind of cutting them off. So I sort of have to put them in this corner down here. And then if I want to have Photoshop intelligently try and select the object instead of me going with the selection tool and doing it by hand, I can click on this quick selection tool, making sure I'm on the right layer. This is logs. And then I'm going to choose Select Subject, if it'll let me. There we go. And then I cross my fingers, hope for the best. And they did a pretty good job of just selecting the part that's in the foreground. So now if I were to hide all the pixels that aren't showing, first of all, I see some areas that I don't want, so I can click on the Subtract from Selection and get rid of this. Oops, Command Z. Maybe it's going to be finicky, so I need to go to the lasso tool and just like say, I don't want this part right around there. Okay, that did a pretty good job. You can also go to Add to Selection and then just try and freehand it. Sometimes that's better than the selection tools, honestly. As long as you can hold your breath and make sure you make a straight enough line. There you go. So now I can hit the mask button and hide whatever's outside of those marching ants. Another thing you can do before applying that selection is go up to Select and Mask up here at the top when you have a selection tool highlighted. So if you click on Select and Mask, this will allow you to see a preview of that selection that you have before you've copy and pasted it. And then you can increase the feather amount, so this will make it a little bit of a softer edge. And then, yeah, you can change different things about it. That looks pretty good. Click OK, and now when I hit that mask button, it's going to apply that and hide all the pixels that were outside of my marching ants. Okay, so now it looks like maybe I want this to be a little bit bigger and just kind of line up along the bottom of my page. Now if I wanted to add like an artistic effect, now see how weird this edge would look if it's like that, if it's not lined up with the edge, or if it's not breaking the edge somehow. You just want it to look more simple and purposeful. So if there's a line, there's usually a reason that we've come to a line. Okay, so on this layer, I'm going to go up to make sure I'm on the thumbnail itself, not on the mask, but the thumbnail. And then I'm going to go up here to the filter menu, and you can try any of these different filter galleries. So these are like artistic filters, like adding, you know, an oil painted look, or a drawn, a hand sketched look. So you might want to do this on some of your layers just to give it like that, yeah, hand drawn quality. So this one has dark outlines. Each of these is being kind of slow, probably because I have a high quality image. So you can just kind of click through and see which one looks the best. There's all these like different sketch ones, stylized textures that you can play around with. I kind of like that. You can also lower the, let's see, some of the different dimensions here. Ooh, I don't like that. I like it a little less. Okay, and then you can just click OK whenever you're done, and it will apply that overlay, that filter. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put this along the bottom here. Something like that. All right, now to add another layer, let's see. I have like the state of Missouri on a map, so let's go ahead and add Missouri. So you kind of have an anything goes aesthetic for this, or you can have a theme or something that connects your pictures, but it's totally okay to have an anything goes type design. So I'm going to go place embedded and then choose the image of the state of Missouri. Let's see, it's just from a map on my wall. If I can find it. Here it is. Okay, and then in order to select just Missouri, I could do that with the quick selection tool. Oh, it's on subtract from selection. We don't want that. Command D. We want add to selection. Okay, so there's kind of like a very bad rendition of Missouri. Maybe I want to subtract from the selection by holding down Option. Okay, something like that. Now you can see if I were to mask it, it's not a very good selection of Missouri, but maybe that's all I need is just a little one. Can make it bigger. Or if we decide later, you know, I kind of want it to have like softer edges, you can get rid of this mask. That's one of the beauties of the mask, is you can get rid of this mask, and then you can, I don't know, maybe make a different selection with like a circle with the ellipse tool. So I'm going to highlight the Missouri, and then maybe I'm going to go to selected mask and then feather that edge. So all of this is like optional. You can tell, like, I'm not telling you exactly what to do, but I'm giving you ideas so you know kind of where you can go with each. It depends on what your vision is. Okay, so click OK, and then if you hit the mask, it will apply that softer edge. So now it just feels like we don't have to be so precise, but we can still tell that that's Missouri. Okay, so from here, let's see, what else can we do? Let's go File, Place, Embedded. I'm going to use one more image here just to kind of show this technique. I want like a crumpled up piece of paper. Here we go, here's one. And then I want this to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to make it really big. It was a drawing, like a self-portrait at one point, and then I wanted it to be texture. Okay, so that's probably big enough. And then to make this layer slightly see-through, you can see right now it's on the top layer, to make sure that the other layers show below it, we can either lower the opacity over here at the top of the layers panel. So the opacity slider will allow you to make your image more or less see-through. You can also add a blending mode. So right here where it says normal, underneath this are all of the different special effects controlling how the other layers will show through this one. This is kind of cool. This is like the opposite colors. This category increases the contrast between the areas where they overlap. This makes it lighter where they overlap, and this category makes it darker where they overlap. So if I were to go on one, say, screen, and then lower the opacity from here, it would become even harder to see. Or you might make a copy of that layer, and it will duplicate that effect, so it makes it even brighter. Maybe you could change one to overlay, and then lower the fill or something. The fill kind of does something similar to the opacity. Now maybe we don't want this overlay to be covering everything. Maybe we just want it to be over the top of the clouds layer. So then I could drag maybe these two, I need to drag together. I drag it down and just place it on the layer right above the sky. And now everything else is showing up above it. Let's see what it looks like with just one. Yeah, I kind of like that one the best. Oh, and this one's down 47%. Maybe turn that up a little bit. Okay, that doesn't look half bad. So I have some texture in the sky of the paper, and there's like a drawing in there, and kind of add some imagery to it, add some more details. So you can see without and with that paper overlay. And that's on overlay blending mode. Ooh, don't want to mess it up. Okay, let's see. I want to add a text layer. So if I go to where I can see the text, I am just going to start typing, and I want to come up with something simple. So like nature. So you need some line of text, some quote. So I'm going to put each of these on a different layer. So first layer, first text layer says nature. Maybe the next one, I'll make it a little smaller. It'll say is. And then the last one can say wild. And I want this to be in a different font and bigger. There you go. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Ooh, and I don't even mind it overlapping like that a little bit. Maybe this one could be a little smaller. Command T. Make it smaller. Nature is wild. Okay. Now I am going to place a photograph into the word nature. So to do this, I have to be on the right layer. Go to where it says nature. And then I am going to use my magic wand tool and click on the color white, and we'll select all the pixels that are white on that layer. Now, if you have the word contiguous checked, that's only going to select the white pixels that are touching. So you don't want contiguous, so turn that off. And then it will select that whole word. Now I need some kind of image to paste into this selection. So I'm going to go to the internet. Uh-oh, see if I can find it. It went away. There it is. Okay, so I just Googled nature texture. I liked these leaves. So I'm just going to copy. And then I come back to Photoshop. I go to Edit. And instead of paste, I'm going to use paste special, and then I'm going to paste into. So now this will paste, and say, okay, paste that picture inside my words. And it's not linked. Notice this will link them. You want them not linked, so that this will move separate from the word. So I can make it bigger, Command T, to make it fit in there. Kind of place it, and then hit Enter. And then there are my words. It's a little hard to see, so I might add a layer style at this point. Maybe I could either add it to the text layer or to this layer 1, that is the green layer. I'm going to go to the text layer. Under FX, I can add a drop shadow, Again, that will make, ooh, that really makes it stand out a lot better, doesn't it? I could also add an outer glow, something like that, and then you can change your dimensions right here. Okay, so that's about it for getting started on your collage. It's already taking shape and looking pretty attractive. Think about adding about 5 to 10 images, just whatever your collage needs, and then make sure you have a quote as well that's meaningful and somehow relates to your collage and maybe some of the pictures that you've chosen to include. Thanks so much and happy photoshopping!